being your friend means I have to compromise on the truth, then yours is a friendship I don't need, and yours is a friendship I don't want. I said, now you can come against me, you and your influence over the government. I said, but as long as I stand on truth and stand with God, I will be the winner. Now look, wait, just say this. Because as Christians, if you're not hated for his name's sake, you better check out whether you really are. Because every true Christian is hated by the forces that control the government of the United States. This is not a Christian government. If Jesus were here tonight, he would say exactly what I'm saying. And you would be thinking all those negative thoughts. And the book said, and Jesus, knowing their thoughts, he departed and went thus and thus. Brothers and sisters, we're in a great time now that our unity will propel us to victory. Dr. King said you don't need to talk bad, you don't need to shout, you don't need to shoot, you don't need to throw a Molotov cocktail.
Welcome and thank you for watching. This is Afro Revolt, a channel that always try to bring to you whatever is trending across the globe. Now, I came across this video of Louis Farrakhan in trying to articulate for equality in matters pertaining lives of black Americans. Over time, black Americans haven't gotten the chance to be treated equally amongst their counterparts, that's the whites, and it has even reached a point where black lives doesn't matter. You saw how Floyd's death sparked different reactions and even protests across the globe, and that is something that hasn't been taken seriously in terms of enacting laws that protect lives. Now let's watch what Farrakhan Louis, the minister of Islam Nation, has to say on this, and let's make a reaction in the end.
I have always been taught by my leader and my mother to stand in respect of the American flag. Whenever the flag is produced, I stand at attention out of respect for that flag, because it is the flag of a free and sovereign people that we helped to make free and sovereign, yet we are not free. Wow. And we don't have America as really ours. So all the hell that we are catching for the last 150 years is under not the Confederate flag. But under the American flag. We're going back to Washington because the capital of the country represents the tyranny under which we live. That flag flies over the Congress. Laws have been passed, the 13th, the 14th, the 15th Amendment, but none of them have been enforced. People died for us to have the right to vote. And they passed the voting rights bill only a few years ago to have the Supreme Court gut the enforcement of that bill, the protection of our right to vote. The flag flies over the state capitals where we don't get justice. The flag of America flies over redlining, over police brutality and mob attacks. The flag of America flies over the Supreme Court where we can't get justice. The flag of America flies. So my question tonight is, how can we continue to support a flag and a country that does not support our right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? We must go back, but we must go back with a determined idea. It is justice, or else what? We'll get to that.
Minister, there are 17 declared Republican candidates who all 17 claim that they are prepared to lead the nation, and in a few days are going to have their first debate. If in fact you were the moderator of that debate, what would you say or ask of those 17?
Oh, Jamal. None of those 17 speak for the American people. They are like, oh God, I don't want to use a cheap phrase. But you know, in the major cities of America, you find beautiful girls dressed to attract, men to lust and take pleasure on their pain. America is seeing our children trafficked, babies trafficked. And if a nation cannot protect its young and protect its elderly. Well, why did I use that picture? Because the candidates are like undressed women. Who are looking for people with money to back them when they know most of them are bought and paid for.
Wow.
You buy a president, then you expect that president to do your bidding. That's why Trump is listened to, because he's not a whore. He got money, so the whore masters can't buy him. The king makers can't make him. So that's why the American people are listening to him, because for the first time, you got a man who can pay his own way. He's a businessman. Not that I would vote for him. Because I'm looking to see, what are you gonna do, Mr. Trump, for justice for the black man? Our cry is worse than any other who is deprived. We've been here longer than any immigrant. And we didn't come here looking for something as the immigrants did. We were brought here in the holds of ships. We didn't come on the Nina, the Pinta, or the Santa Maria. We came to be made slaves and burden bearers of the citizens of this nation. So if I were the moderator, I'd tell him go home. If I were the moderator, not one of you would get my vote, but it's the same on the other side.
Yes.
Oh, yes, yes, yeah. We got to look at this horse and pony show on the Democratic side. And most of you are Democrats. And most of you are slaves. Most of you are Democrats. But most of you are deprived. Most of you are Democrats. But it is under Democratic leadership that we have suffered. You owe us something, America. So no campaign speech is going to get our vote this year. No campaign speech. I've heard Miss Clinton say that all lives matter. But Miss Clinton, and to all the candidates, if black lives don't matter, no life matters, because all life came from the black man and woman. You have your existence because of us. So black lives must matter if your life is to matter. So this is an interesting time.
Yes.
When we go back to Washington, my dear and beloved brother, companion and friend in struggle, we can't go back weak. It's come to the point of explosion now. The statistics that you laid out and the words that Sister Tamika said, we're killing each other. Not because we just want to kill. We are socially engineered into the behavior of a savage. Socially engineered. When I was a young boy, the family was together, male and female. The man of the house would go out in the morning with his lunch pail, and the mother would stay home and rear the children. And we went to church on Sunday, and we went to school on Monday, but church and school and home worked together. And even though there was segregation, there was evil and injustice, yet we at that time had a community in which there was love and care. That's gone now. Our young people don't want to go to church. Our young people don't care about school, because the meal that they're being fed and overfed is a doctrine of white supremacy, masked in history, masked in geography, masked in science, masked in mathematics, because none of them want to deal with what the black man gave to the onward march of civilization. So if I don't see myself in the picture, why am I interested?
Absolutely.
If we are not in the schools, in the process of education, if nothing is being said to show us what we contributed to this that is called America, not only from the slave plantations, but we gave science and mathematics to the world. We gave architecture to the world. Why don't our children know this? So, my brother, we need a new educational paradigm. It's not going to come from white supremacy. So here we are now, jobs gone, factories closed, jobs warehoused to cheap labor markets, and then we are left in the lurch. When I was young, in every city, if you didn't go to college, there was a vocational school where women were taught the art and the science of homemaking, and men could get a trade where if they didn't go to college, they could work with their trade, make not the best of living, but a decent living where they didn't have to deal with crime and violence. But when the jobs were gone, the factories are closed, the home is broken down because now the men had to leave because our women are on aid to dependent children and they couldn't be in the house, so they vacated and snuck back at night, but the family was broken. Then the war came and women were taken out of the kitchen and out of the home and put in factories so that somebody else cooked food for us because our mothers were in the factories. So we went to markets and Sally, somebody gave us food. Somebody did the dinner. Somebody did the dessert. Somebody made money off of us. But mama, grandmama who cooked for us, grandmama who shopped, grandmama, when we were coming home, we could smell the rolls that she was cooking in the oven. But today, it's cold. We used to be nursed from our mother's breast, where we bonded with mom. We bonded with something human that gave us a sense of our humanity, bonding with humanity. But today, mama is gone, children warehouse, so I'm bonded to a plastic bottle. I'm in a crib and you give me things to play with when I'm a human being and I'm not nurtured in a human way. So our children are growing up cold and heartless, socially engineered, and then drugs comes in. We don't make the drugs. Guns come in. We don't manufacture the guns. You got satellites above our head that could spot a grapefruit on the ground and tell you where it came from. You can't find the drug pushers that are bringing it in. And the drug pusher, Brother Jamal, was our government. The government that flies the American flag over it. You are the traitor. You are the one that have betrayed that flag, betrayed life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, betrayed the Constitution. You are unworthy, and many of you should be brought to court and charged with crimes against humanity for the evil that you have done.
No, that's great. I saw today, as we're mindful of 5 sisters, minister, who died in police custody in 3 weeks. But the news cycle is focused more on a lion dying in Africa. And I find the irony that they will in fact pause and find the importance of an animal dying out of Africa, but not the sister lionesses who have died coming out of Africa. If we believe that Black Lives Matter, why is it that we only march, only get enraged when it's a white officer holding the gun? But when it is that we see death amongst ourselves, we have in fact become desensitized to it and don't mobilize around it. Maybe, Minister, I want to ask you a question. Is it that America don't believe Black Lives Matter because we don't act like it does?
I think that's a part of the problem, because you can't ask somebody to treat you better than you are willing to treat yourself. And I like what you said, Pastor Jamal, because Cecil, I think, is the name of the lion.
Yeah.
Cecil got shot because somebody wanted a trophy of a great, powerful lion. Now they're looking for Cecil. And they're looking for the one that shot Cecil. The dentist has closed the shop. He's in hiding. Darren Wilson is walking.
Wow.
The killer of Trayvon Martin is walking. The killer of Oscar Grant is walking. But the doctor is in hiding over a dead lion. We have to answer for our weakness and our cowardice in the face of tyranny. And I'm saying this, Brother Jamal, and I pray that God will guide my words and guide my heart. But beloved brother and my dear brothers and sisters, sometimes, as Dr. King said, there are things worth dying for. And Dr. King said, if there's something in your life that's not worth dying for, then what are you living for? My little sister, 14 years old or 12 in Texas with a bikini, and the police knocked her to the ground, put their knee in her neck and in her back, was ready to shoot a young brother who wanted to step in. He should have stepped in. I don't want to be misunderstood, but if we won't fight to protect our women, we're not worthy of her or of the children that she produces for us. Our role as men is maintainers of our women, providers for our women and children, protectors of our family. Elijah Muhammad said, the woman is the earth out of which you produce your crop. What farmer would put a seed in the ground and not make a move to protect the crop that's coming? You kill the bugs, you kill the enemy that will eat your fruit or your tree or your crop. You kill the animal that will kill your herd. That's right. But you say, I forgive for the killer of our women and children. I think we need serious reconstruction of our thought processes. And I want to say to pastors, you must man up and stop preaching a doctrine that makes you a better slave.
Wow.
Stop it. And don't put your power, your cowardice on Jesus Christ. You misunderstand him totally. I was with Martin Luther King III the other day, and we were talking about the violence in our community. And you're right, Brother Jamal. We don't stand up when we kill each other. We go and rush, because the white man has been killing us ever since our fathers set the soles of their feet in the Western Hemisphere. He's been doing it for 460 years now. So you can't say, Father, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. They didn't just do it since we've been here. They did it all over the earth. The book of Revelations calls them blood shedders, who have shed the blood of every creature. That's why Cecil is dead. That's why the animals can't live, because we want to kill and kill and kill and put trophies on the wall. That's why when they burned us at the stake, they would cut off our ears and cut off our private parts and make them trophies. This is why John the Revelator refused to call the rulers of this world human beings, John the Revelator called them beasts. And we had the mark of the beast in our forehead and in our hands. Look at what our hands are doing. Look at what our minds are thinking. Don't you tell anybody that you are Christian and you are not Christ-like. We can't tell anybody we're Muslims if we're not in submission to the will of God. So my beloved brothers and sisters, if hate is bad, and they always tell us, you shouldn't hate. No, that this is not nice, that we should hate, because they know with the evil that they're pouring on us, the natural thing would be not to love them. But we are like a silly woman married to an abusive man, and he's beating you all the time, and silly woman said, but I love you. After a while, people begin to think you're insane, because if you don't love yourself enough to protect yourself from an abusive man, that's why they have courts, supposedly, and judges, supposedly, that you can go to court and say, Your Honor, I can't take no more, and before I kill him or he kills me, our differences are irreconcilable. I helped him get what he got, so let's divide up what we helped him build. Well, the same today. The judge is asking us, look at the Bible, it says, shall, it raises the question, the lawful captive be delivered? Wow. Then Isaiah says, he shall take the prey from the mighty, and the lawful captive will be delivered. How are you a lawful captive? You're under the law, under that flag, and your hands are bound. You know you're being killed, but the Justice Department will not act on our behalf. They will not intercede to see that those of us who are wronged get justice. So what are we to do? We can't live like this anymore. I was talking to the police chief in St. Louis the other day, and I said, Chief, this thing is coming to the point of explosion. I said, we don't have anything to lose. We are already dead. And our young people don't think they'll live to see 21. So we have nothing to lose. But you, Chief, have everything to lose. Your life, the city, and your country. Have you ever seen the eruption of a volcano that slept for hundreds, even thousands of years, and you've been playing around the volcano without respect for what its potential is, and then one day a roar comes up? It ain't Cecil. It's the black oppressed. It's the brown oppressed. It's the indigenous oppressed. It's the poor white oppressed who do not see the government of America as their government. So since Barack Obama was elected, you have over 1,200 militias in America, armed to the teeth. They're not armed because they want to go out in the field and shoot. They are ready to fight their government. America's in trouble. That's why we're going. We have to get justice. And I have to tell you, it is better sometime to be dead than to live continuously under tyranny. And when we get to that point that death is sweeter, then we will act as a human being should act in defense of our life. Reverend Freddie Haynes, stand your ground. Imagine us, the white policeman that was shot in Memphis just yesterday. I don't know what happened. But suppose the brother saw him coming, saw that uniform. As I told the captain or the chief of police in St. Louis, we see this uniform of yours as the uniform of the enemy. And Brother Malcolm said the police are an occupying army, and we are not there to be served and protected by them. They are there to run a cordon around our community so that the disease of our savagery won't penetrate downtown where the tourists come, so that we won't interfere with the flow of business. This is real. But one day, in the island of Montserrat in the Caribbean, a sleeping volcano erupted. And when it erupted, first it's just a roar. Oh, Cecil. Then dust and debris coming up that covers great distances, so high till planes can't fly. Because if that stuff gets in your engine, your plane is coming down. Then comes the fire. Then comes the lava. Then comes the destruction of everything around. Is that America what you want to see? From us, your faithful servant, your loyal servitude slave? Is that what you are hoping for so you can slaughter us? Yes, you can slaughter us. You have the means to do it. But you won't last. I'm here to warn you, America. We are the people of God. God has chosen the foolish things of this world to be his people. And he has come to be our God. And what our beloved pastor, Reverend Dr. Haynes, said, the battle is not ours. The battle is the Lord's. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. So you can look for, if you come with your tanks and you're ready to do it. But when you come with your tanks, know that we are ready to die. But we're not going to die without putting up a fight.
It's, wow.
Now wait just a minute. See, now you got real quiet when I said that. What's wrong with you? When I said that, you should have been on your feet. See, Pastor Haynes said, but you're not, you haven't got there yet. You know, you're not shouting yet. You're not ready yet to defend the gift that only God can give. And if you can't and will not fight to protect this gift, and like a sheep led to the slaughter, you offer your lives up on the altar of cowardice. If this is you, then you deserve to die. But if you stand and fight for the life that God gave you, then victory is assured. Some of us will die, but the rest will be free to enjoy life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Awesome. It's almost like a deja vu moment of the processing of what Dr. King was going through, seeing 4 little girls bombed in a church, seeing dogs unleashed on women, having to have men hold a sign making the declaration, I am a man. And out of that pain, writing Strength to Love. One of the most critical things you've said to me since I've had the privilege of walking with you is hearing you say Dr. King didn't die because of his dream, he died because he woke up. And that we really don't understand the effulgence of the development of Dr. King. And part of your drive of going back is your newfound affinity for where the direction of Dr. King was going. That there's a missing integer. After civil rights, there's some civil rights. And we can't forget that he was on his way for the Poor People's Campaign. That there is a financial issue that is at stake that is going to have to be met.
Oh, Brother Jamal, most of our pastors have allowed the historians to make a caricature of the greatness of Dr. King by saying he had a dream. Is that all you know about that man? The last 2 years of his life, he was on an evolutionary journey. He was going up to God and down into the valley of death. Dr. King said, and I quote, the night before he died, the garbage workers were experiencing pain, no justice. Dr. King said, we at that time have $30 billion coming through our hands in 1 year. We are richer than every country on the earth except 9. He said that money represents power. We are poor individually, but collectively, with the money that comes through our hands, we are richer than most of the nations on the earth that have hospitals, schools, agriculture, science, technology with less money. This year, $1.3 trillion is going to come through our hand. And the business community romances us for our consumer dollars, not even 10% of which stays in our community. So Dr. King said, we must redistribute the pain. He said, we must go by the big businesses of these tycoons and tell them, God sent us by here. I like that. God sent us by here to tell you that you're not treating his people right. God said he wants you to treat his people fairly. And if you are not prepared to treat his people fairly, then we have an agenda, and that agenda is to withdraw our dollars from you. So he said tonight in Memphis, go and tell your neighbors, don't buy Coca-Cola. Don't buy seal test milk. Don't buy Wonder Bread. And then there was another bread, and he said, looked over at Jesse, said, Jesse, what's that other bread? And Jesse screamed out, it's Heart's bread. He said, yes, Heart's bread. He said, let's go and take our money out of their banks and put it in our own banks. Ooh.
And this is the night before he died.
The night before he died. That's his mountaintop speech.
Yes.
Now, brothers and sisters, the reason I've fallen more in love with Dr. King, because Dr. King, like you, like me, like Pastor Jamal, like Reverend Holly, like Dr. Hames, we are all on a journey. We're not yesterday what we are today, and hopefully tomorrow we won't be what we are today. We are evolving. Dr. King died at 39. Malcolm X died at, or was assassinated at 39. I have been blessed to live twice their lifespan. So I have lived to see the growth both of Brother Malcolm and of Dr. King. I see it. Malcolm wasn't a man just saying by any means necessary. You don't reduce him to a slogan. There was a body of knowledge that Malcolm had that made him the most feared spokesperson for our hurt. And did you know that when Brother Malcolm was assassinated, at that time, he was #1 on the ADL's list as the #1 anti-Semite among black people? You didn't know that, did you? Do you know where I am today? I'm #1. But think about this. My Jewish friends are not forgiving when you hurt them. I have done nothing to them except tell the truth, and that's bad enough. So they came to me one day and we had dinner together. We had a lovely time. And they said, Farrakhan, this is going to be tough love. So after dinner, we went down to have coffee, and the rabbi pulled out a white envelope, and he said, now, Farrakhan, you are looking for friendship from us, but we would have to watch you over a protracted period of time, your words and your deeds, before we would say we're friends. You wrote a book, The Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews. That was by our research department. You must denounce that book as a gross calumny against the Jewish people. And he said, you know, anyone that's not considered a friend of the Jewish people is never spoken of well in history. If you do these things, listen to these words. If you do these things, we will clean up your image. Think of those words. I don't control the media. I couldn't come on Word TV as a true lover of Jesus Christ because people didn't know that I believed in Jesus. So they were giving him hell for even inviting me on his show as a great Christian pastor. That's because you hated me before you knew me. You let the media tell you who I am. But if you were alive 2,000 years ago, the media in Rome would have you hating Jesus. Talk to me. They hated Jesus without a cause. And you know, Pastor Jamal, you can make Jesus look bad.
You done sat up now. You
can make Jesus look bad with a 10-second sound bite. Let me show you how it would happen. Jesus was in town last night. The hater. How could any of you go out to hear that man? He's a hater. And he'll quote, he said, you must hate your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, yea, even your own life for my sake, or you are not worthy. Jesus, the hater, is in town. CBS comes on. Jesus, the violent man, was in town tonight. He said, think not that I come to bring peace, nay, a sword. He's divisive. He comes to put the mother-in-law against the daughter-in-law. Jesus is in town tonight.
Talk, sir.
See? Taking his words and twisting them. No man can serve two masters. The hate teachers at it again. You can't serve two masters. You must love one, hate the other. Jesus, the hate teacher. Jesus, the anti-Semite, was in town last night. What? He was in an argument with some Jewish people. And he said to them, I know you. Ooh. They said, we are Abraham's seed. And he said, no. If you were Abraham's seed, you would do the works of Abraham. He said, even God is our Father. And Jesus shot back and said, if God were your Father, you would love me. For I proceeded forth and came from God. And now you seek to kill me, a man that has told you the truth. I know you. The anti-Semite was in town last night, and he called us devils. None of you should go near him. None of you should give him any honor. But look, he opened the eyes of the blind. He made the deaf hear, the dumb speak. He raised Lazarus to life. Yeah. He did that, but he did that by the power of the devil. And so now he tells me, if I do everything they say, they will clean up my image because they know they dirtied my image. And so it was my time to speak now. So I said to my rabbis, I said, There's no such thing as your truth and my truth. There's only truth. Your perception and my perception of that truth may be different. And that's why we dialogue to reconcile our perceptions. But there's only truth, not yours, not mine, truth. In the Torah, in Isaiah, he says, justice stands afar off. Equity cannot enter because truth has fallen in the streets. So we began to talk about protracted goodness. I said, you know, I should say that back to you. We need to watch you for a very long time, because we have never done to you and your people what you and your people have done to us. Listen. See, this is what makes me hated. It's because I speak truth. And I can back the truth up with truth, and I'll back it up with my life. I offer my life if I'm lying. And those who want me dead, and I've heard Jewish people say, who do you want, Farrakhan? How do you want him dead? I won't let you take my life. I'll give you my life if you can prove me to be a liar. And that you can't do, and that's why you lie on me to turn the people into haters of me, just like you did for Jesus 2,000 years ago. So I said, I will destroy that book tonight, because I want nothing false attached to my name. I said, but before I do that, since everyone in that book that we quoted were Jewish scholars, Jewish historians, and Jewish rabbis, you condemn every one of them as liars, and then I'll destroy the book. Never have they said a word like that. No more. Then I said, I want to be your friend, that's why I'm here. But if being your friend means I have to compromise on the truth, then yours is a friendship I don't need, and yours is a friendship I don't want. I said, now you can come against me, you and your influence over the government. I said, but as long as I stand on truth and stand with God, I will be the winner. Now look, wait, just say this. Because as Christians, if you're not hated for his name's sake, you better check out whether you really are. Because every true Christian is hated by the forces that control the government of the United States. This is not a Christian government. If Jesus were here tonight, he would say exactly what I'm saying. And you would be thinking all those negative thoughts. And the book said, and Jesus, knowing their thoughts, he departed and went thus and thus. Brothers and sisters, we're in a great time now that our unity will propel us to victory. Dr. King said you don't need to talk bad. You don't need to shout, you don't need to shoot, you don't need to throw a Molotov cocktail. All we need to do is to come together in unity and use the power of our purchasing to deliver pain, and they will properly respond. So in concluding that, my brother's been so kind. He's allowed me to preach a little. He mentioned the 4 children that were bombed in Birmingham. My research team found words from Dr. King. After that happened, he was so hurt. He wanted all-out war. Not physical, not violent, but to shut down cities. Go out in the highways, don't let nothing move. And the one thing he really wanted to do was boycott Christmas. And he knew that they weren't united enough to make it effective. And I looked at that and I said, oh, Dr. King, I didn't know that that's what he wanted, but that's what I'm asking. That this year, on the day after Thanksgiving, what do they call that?
It's Black Friday.
Black Friday. Well, let black be absent on that Friday. Let black people keep their money in their pocket. Now, Jesus had 12 disciples. One of them was a devil. Santa Claus has 12 reindeers. And Santa has literally kicked Jesus to the curb. What are you going to have for Christmas? What do you want for Christmas? Sweetheart, what would you like? Oh, yeah, see, that's Christmas. The meaning of Christmas to you is not to give of yourself, but to give some token, some material thing. And Santa is saying, ho, ho, ho. And the business people are going to the bank saying, ha, ha, ha. Once again, our bottom line is great for the whole year. Because you took a lie and put a lie over the truth. You lied to your children and told them that a big fat Caucasian from the North Pole came down a chimney and you're in an apartment and left some goods under the tree. Where did the tree come from? Reverend, go look in Jeremiah, the 10th chapter. It talked about the heathens, how they go in the forest, they cut down a tree, they bring it in, they nail it down, they deck it with silver and gold. Why are you doing this? You're honoring the winter solstice because the 21st day of December is the shortest day of the year, and the sun worshipers thought that their God was leaving them because the days were getting shorter and shorter and shorter. So in worshiping the sun, when Constantine became the Caesar of Rome and then converted to Christianity, he mixed pagan practice into honor and respect for Jesus Christ. So now, instead of worshiping the Son, S-U-N, God, they worship the Son of God, but with all the pagan symbols.
Hate him or love him, Louis Farrakhan is someone who is bold and stands for what he means, because equality is something that should be fought for. Equality is something that is even is impressive in the eyes of the Lord. God never wants a situation whereby one is inferior and another one is superior. God never wants a world whereby there is an oppressor and someone also feels oppressed. God needs a situation whereby there is equality and everyone has the dignity he or she deserves. Every person is seen as a human or belonging to the human race, because human race is one and there is no one who is different in the eyes of the Lord. So as Farrakhan is saying it, the lives matter, whether it is a black life or a white life, it all matters and it has to be protected. Life is sacred, and taking someone's life because of the difference in race is inhumane and is punishable in the eyes of God. And I brought a video some days back that calls for repentance of the whites due to the atrocities that they have done to the black people, and it is time that they realize that things are changing, and we see and we can castigate, and one day people will stand up and say enough is enough. Enough is enough, because we have faced the atrocities for the longest time and we are tired of it. So this will give you a grace period to change and see that the blacks also matter. In America there are different races, all of them are equal. No one should act better than another. That is the kind of thing that Louis Farrakhan is trying to advocate for, and is always, I mean always, bold enough to highlight these issues without fear. That is what should be built amongst the blacks, because the fear that was bestowed on us is ending, and right now we don't fear anything, and we will say them as they are. Black lives matter. Give us space to express ourselves without killing us. You saw different atrocities that were peddled, or rather, which word can I use, that the white or the blacks faced during the slavery period, and it wasn't a very interesting times for the blacks, even though the whites have never felt or seen the urge to ask for forgiveness. We always see that even if you compensate us, we won't get back the lives that were lost during those times. So all that we need is feel remorseful. A feeling of remorse would make us move on and forget about whatever happened. Now, I want you to make a comment on this video and tell us if Farrakhan Louis is well articulating these issues, and if Africa will rise above all these atrocities and the black man will once have or regain the value, because black is the father and mother of the human nature. It all started by the blacks. So hit our comment section and talk about it. Also, if you are watching us for the first time, kindly do not forget to subscribe, because if you subscribe, you get a chance of getting a notification when we bring another video. Also, like and share. Thank you, and may God bless you.